Happy New Year to all my beautiful patrons. Thank you for being here, whether you've been here since the very beginning or if you're one of my handful of new members who have just joined in the past month. I am so excited for another year of beautiful, brilliant pleasure education content for you and for the world. I'm going to share in this video a little bit of a life update and a little bit of a content update for what you can expect as a member of my Patreon here for the next months and next year. So I started this Patreon in March of last year. It was like my birthday present to myself. And in those, let's just say 9 months, because it was at the end of the month, I've created over 100 pieces of content. I'm really proud of this body of work. This includes videos, long form writings, workshops and workshop replays, mini master classes, and all sorts of different collections, which I'll link to below, that help you discover what your best sex is for you. I'm here to be a guide. I'm not here to tell you exactly what to do and how to do it. And there's no one kind of single checklist that works for every human and every body. So I'm here to be your guide. I'm here to offer wisdom, practices, and skills that will guide you into finding what the best sex is for you in your own body, for you in your own partnership, whatever that looks like. So I'll link below to some of my collections for some of you that are new here. This is a great way to navigate around on Patreon and find a specific theme that you want to focus on. There's about maybe 15 collections that I have so far, and I'll probably create a few more this year as I dive deeper into this work. But for this year, some of the main themes that I'm thinking about in this moment in January are kind of three big ones with one overarching theme. So the big overarching theme is sacred sexuality or conscious sexuality. There's plenty of sex education out there. There's plenty of people who can help, show you how to put piece A into slot B and figure out how to do the moves to have sex in different ways. But I'm here to guide you into a deeper expression of sex. That's not just friction based, that's not goal oriented, that's not linear. It's really about dropping into your body in this moment, and whether you share that with someone or whether it's a solo pleasure practice, really learning how to be more mindful, more conscious, more sensual, more expressed in your sexuality. So that's kind of the overall theme of basically all the education that you'll find here on my Patreon. The kind of subtopics that I'm thinking about, again, in this moment, and this is always subject to change, is men's sexuality, women's sexuality, and then really working a lot more on couples. So when I started this work, I really thought I would be working exclusively with women. As a woman who's been harmed at the hands of men, it makes sense for me to help guide my sisters and friends into deeper pleasure and better expression and more honesty with their sexuality. And that is absolutely part of what I do. This is part of my journey as a woman, as a feminine creature, as a sexual person, to really understand, slow down, be with my own sensuality and my own sexuality for me. So this is my own work. This is work that I have worked through trauma, through pain, through healing, through abuse, into coming into this kind of beautiful state of openness and consciousness around my own sensuality. And there's so much more to explore. And as I started doing this work years ago, I really realized there was such a need to work with men and men's sexuality. This can be kind of a fraught place, because as a woman on the internet who talks about sex and men's sexuality, there's a lot of garbage that I have to put up with. Really aggressive, intake messages, really disgusting Instagram direct messages, really a huge disrespect for this body of work. And over the past year, I've been able to put in blocks and gates and ways to kind of filter out those types of things, but it still happens. And I want to give my men the benefit of the doubt. I trust that you are here to learn and explore and grow in your capacity as a lover, as a healer, as a powerful man in your body that creates safety, sensuality, security with whoever your partner is, even if that's yourself. So, my work with men's sexuality is really rooted in the Tantric and Taoist traditions that focus on kind of containment of that powerful energy, containment of desire, looking at edging practices, erotic embodiment, and different ways that you can show up for your partner that allow them the space, time, and presence to open. So, if you are a man, a bunch of my members here on Patreon are men, I invite you deeper into this work because I have seen firsthand with my clients, with my friends, with my partner, how life changing it is to become the lover that you want to be, the lover that you know you're meant to be, and the lover that your partners desire, right? This is the work of men's sexuality, is understanding, holding, and knowing your power and using it for good. The other kind of main theme you'll see a lot coming up this year is for couples and partnerships. So I'm bisexual, I'm in a straight presenting relationship. So most of my knowledge and practice is going to focus on heterosexual coupling simply because that's what I have the most experience with. This is really my zone of genius. But as a queer woman and as a very sex positive and LGBTQ friendly person, like everyone is welcome here. So if you are in a queer partnership or identify as a queer person, you are welcome here as well. Some of the teachings may apply to you, some of them you may have to toss out because they don't exactly work for you. But my focus on couples and partnerships is, I've found over the past few months, like this is really my zone of genius, working with couples, working with two people or more in a partnership or a dynamic to help unwind stalemates, to help address the context issues that are keeping them from having the best sex of their life. How do we work with communication, touch, intimacy to really build a safe container and a sexual space where you can both or all of you be free in it? So part of this is because, again, I found this to kind of be my zone of genius, and it's been really great to work with my couples in my private practice over the past few months. And it's also really rooted in my own kind of moment in time. So my partner and I have been doing a lot of thinking around marriage as a container for growth. I was a person who never thought I would get married. It's a patriarchal institution, misogynistic, et cetera, et cetera. And it turns out when you have a partner who is loving and devoted and safe and calm and attuned, it makes marriage seem like a much more delightful prospect. We got engaged over New Year's, so I am newly engaged and newly sparkling, and we'll be planning a wedding in October of 2025. So over the course of this year, you'll see a lot more content around marriage, partnership, as a container for growth. Not just here's 10 things to make sure your husband doesn't cheat on you, but really how do we create a loving, safe, sensual space in our partnership so that we both get to be our fullest self, our deepest sensual expression in service of the other person's eros and their erotic energy, while also maintaining integrity and groundedness in ourselves. So this is like this fascinating topic that Christopher will probably join me for some of those, and you'll also hear me kind of working through my own stuff when it comes to marriage, because it's brought up a lot for both of us. So that's really the big news, and that feels really fun. And there's going to be a lot of different new and free workshops. There's going to be a lot of different workbooks and different practices for you to explore, rooted in our own work together, rooted in my personal journey. And also, just this week, I have signed up for a year-long coaching training with a renowned sex expert who I've been following for years and finally joined the program. So this will be a whole year of me diving into my own work, my own business, my own coaching protocols. So as I sit here now, I imagine that this time next year, I will be a transformed person, a transformed coach, a transformed lover. So I hope that you stick with me on this journey. I really want this Patreon to be in service to your eros, in service to your pleasure education. So I'm going to create a poll that I think I can link to in a separate post. I want to hear from you when you have a moment. What most interests you? What are you most excited about learning? This can be deeply personal to you. Everything will be anonymous. The more vulnerable and open you are willing to be, the better I can create content that speaks to you. So sometimes when I have client sessions or random people asking me questions, I take those questions, I take that information and I turn it into videos here so that everyone can benefit. It's always anonymous, it's always secret, but it's a kind of a way to make sure that you get, it's not direct access to me, but it's kind of semi-direct access to me to get your specific questions answered. Also, if you are at the $15 a month level, you get a 30-minute chat with me monthly. This is not a substitution for therapy or coaching, but it's a chance to ask questions, chat about stuff you've learned, chat about whatever's going on with you. And then again, I can answer some questions in real time and perhaps take some of your individual challenges or questions and turn them into custom videos. So I invite your comments, I invite your feedback. This education is for you to learn and grow as a lover, and it's for me to share this beautiful body of work. I feel so honored and so blessed to be able to share my brilliance, my sensuality, my openness around sex and sexuality with you. So thank you for being here on this journey. I hope that you'll stick around, and I really look forward to hearing from all of you. And may 2025 be your year of the best sex ever. Thank you for being here.